everybody. Because of the lockdowns, it's been almost a month now since my last video, and almost 2 months since my last trip. So I've really missed you all, and I've also missed doing features about churches and about my trips. So for this morning, I plan to go to Laguna to do one church feature. So I decided to go back to Laguna because there are actually a lot of historic churches there. Laguna plays a very important role in the history of the Philippines, especially during the Spanish occupation. And so really, one doesn't have to travel far to visit churches that play a role in the history of our country. And in fact, this particular church that I intend to visit, as you will find out later on hopefully, plays one significant role, at least with respect to one key figure in the history of the Philippine Revolution during the Spanish colonial era. The name of the church is Santa Magdalena Parish Church, found in Magdalena, Laguna, and it's more known as Magdalena Church. So I'm hoping to visit the church, and I'm saying hoping because some churches still remain to be closed because of certain granular lockdown protocols. So since it's found in Laguna, it's actually not that far, and it's easy to get to from Manila. So let's do this. Okay folks, so let's take a closer look at Magdalena Church, and hopefully the doors are open so we can see how it looks like inside. You know, this church is not that old compared to the other churches we've seen. It was constructed sometime in 1821 of wood and light materials, and it was only in 1829 when they decided to reconstruct the church with stone. I think the construction was completed in 1855, and the bell tower that you see above my right shoulder was completed in the 1860s. You know, this bell tower is quite unique because this 4-story bell tower is octagonally shaped. So I'd like to go closer and show you how it looks like. And one other thing about this church is that since it was also constructed during the Spanish era, as with the other churches we've seen, it's also Baroque styled or Baroque inspired. Let's take a closer look. It's also partly made of sandstone, so I think that's the reason why the facade of the church, at least the middle part, at least the main part of the church, is quite light colored. And I think that's because of the influence of the sandstone. Well, let's see. Okay, so here's the marker. Again, it's in Tagalog. And one quick fact that I can take out of this marker is the fact that, as I said, it was constructed of stone in 1829. More particularly, it was constructed of adobe stone. And in addition to the facts I mentioned a while ago, the convent itself was constructed from 1871 to 1872. There's another thing here that I'd like to show you. And it's these images. See, I don't know if they're stained glass windows or they're actually made of colored stones. But it's very beautiful. There are two of them. One on the left, and then there's a niche in the middle. And then you have another image here on the right. The building to the right side of the main church looks like the convent. You can see that the stained windows stand out very beautifully. And let me show you the view from the main entrance of the church. There you go. And across the church is, I believe, the municipal hall and the police station. So we're lucky enough to enter the church. It was the side door was actually open. So let's take a look at the church from the rear or from the main entrance all the way to the altar. here's the pulpit. Beautifully designed. And here's the patron saint of the church, Santa Maria Magdalena. Okay, now from the main altar, as we walk down the aisle back to the main entrance, you will notice that there's a small staircase to the left of the church. And this small staircase leads to a special place. It's actually the place that I told you about before we began our trip. Remember I told you that this church has a historical significance with respect to the Spanish colonial era. In particular, this church houses as well the shrine to Emilio Jacinto, who is also regarded as the brains of the Katipunan, or the revolutionary movement against the Spaniards. So Emilio Jacinto was mortally wounded in February 1898, and he came to this church to hide. And so there's a shrine here dedicated to him. So from the shrine, we're now entering the main church again. So the shrine is located at the right side of the church when you pass the main entrance. So this is the Baptistery, which is to the left side of the church when you enter the main entrance, and it's right below the bell tower. Prayers have just started, and so I guess it's time for me now to pray a bit and exit the church. Okay, so we just exited from the left door of the church. Left door if you're facing the main entrance from outside. And so that's the bell tower once again. As you can see, it's octagonally shaped, right? Beautiful, beautiful bell tower. Okay, so we're going back now to my bike, which is parked right in front of the church. It was quite warm where my bike was parked, so I decided to just sit here by the entrance of the church, away from everybody. I mean, there aren't a lot of people here, but there are a few cyclists who are parked around there at the parking area. And so I felt it was safer for me even to just sit here at the main entrance of the church. And finally have my breakfast. And so in terms of breakfast, what we have here is a simple egg sandwich that I normally bring whenever I go on rides. I'm actually enjoying it because it's, sitting by this church gives you a very strong sense of feeling you're immersed in history, especially given the historical value of this church. As you saw a while ago, Emilio Jacinto came here and tended to his wounds when he was mortally wounded, and the shrine is actually here. So you can imagine that these stones here, these adobe stones here, bear witness to a lot of events that are critical and very important to the history of the Philippines. Thanks for joining me in this church feature. It's been 2 months since I went out on a ride, and so I'm really enjoying this experience. I also hope that you enjoyed our little tour around Magdalena Church. As with the other churches we visited, this is also a very beautiful church. So I'll say goodbye now, and I'll catch you in my next video. Ciao!